What's up, guys? I have a leaky shower head. It is dripping about once every 5 seconds. I've done some research. Apparently when the head drips, it has nothing to do with the actual shower head itself. It has a problem with the valve. I'm going to attempt to replace the valve on this Kohler, and we'll see how it goes. So after doing some research on these Kohler faucets, I have just a single shower faucet. When there's a leak, it's most likely this mixer cap plate on the back here. It's just called a valve cap assembly. That's the model number. When you open up the shower, you have this piece, and then you have the valve repair kit. But from what I understand, this other piece is meant to control the hot water, so when you flush the toilet, you don't get scalded when you run the toilet. I don't think this is the problem. I think it's just the mixer plate, the cap assembly. So I'm going to be replacing this. The only thing I think you're going to need is some silicone grease. You can get that at Home Depot or Lowe's. You're going to need an Allen wrench to take off your handle, and maybe some needle nose pliers. And then something, either a screwdriver or something to take off the caulking around your faucet, so you can get the cap off. Alright, so first thing, I've turned the water off, the main water line in the house. At the bottom here, underneath, is where you would put your Allen wrench to untighten the connection of this handle. I've already done that, so I'm just going to take the handle off. And then you're going to take off, there's two screws here, and that's going to allow you to take off this cap plate. Take off that middle sleeve, cap plate. Now you see what we're working with on the inside. That piece that's sticking out on the top, that mixer cap plate, that's what I'm going to replace, and I'm going to hopefully leave the other valve back behind it. Alright, there's two screws, one here, that's holding this metal bracket in. I'm going to take those two screws out and then attempt to pull this out. Alright, after taking off those two screws, I'm just going to take this piece off, and then there's nothing else holding this mixer cap plate on except for maybe the O-rings on the inside. So I'm going to try to wiggle this off and detach that. I don't know if I'm going to need pliers or what. I have a cup here just in case any water is coming out that I need to catch. Alright, so I pulled this off. I was pulling pretty hard, so I needed both hands. Pulled it off. A little bit of water did leak right out of here. Didn't have my cup available, but it was only a couple of drips as long as you drain the water pretty well. But yeah, it looks like this piece started to come apart. Maybe two pieces. But when you put it back together, it's all going to be one piece. And you're going to slide it right into there. Hopefully all I'm going to need to do is grease here, maybe grease around this O-ring, and put it back in. I'm not planning on taking that piece out for this first time. I plan on just replacing this to see if it stops the leak. Hopefully this piece hasn't gone bad inside, but I do have that piece in case I need to replace that one as well. If I do need to take that out, I'll use the needle nose pliers and just pull it straight out. Alright, here's the old one, here's the new one. This old one had this square adapter on there so my handle would fit. My handle goes right, there's a square hole on the back side of my handle, so you just have to take this adapter and put it back on the new one. Because if not, the handle won't be able to grab anything. That will have no inside leverage to actually turn the handle. So you have to put this plastic cap, take it off the old one, put it on the new one. Alright, so I greased around these O-rings here. I greased around the seal and a little bit around the other rubber gasket. I'm going to attempt to put it back in, and hopefully it seeds properly. Feels like it's on there pretty good. I'm going to put that cap plate on and then screw it back down, and then we'll test it out. Alright, I've turned the water back on the house. It's not leaking right now, but I don't know if it's just the fact that the water hasn't really come back up here yet. What I'm going to do in a minute is turn on the, just turn this manually, see if any water leaks out of the bottom of there, if I have a tight seal, and then turn it off and see if it stops leaking. So I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll be testing in a minute and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, I ran the water. It doesn't seem to be leaking. There's a little bit of water spots that, drops that are coming down, but I think that's just because I turned it off. It's always going to be like one little drop up there. But it hasn't leaked since turning it off. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything back on. Make sure that there's no water leaking out of that mixer plate. Make sure that's a good seal, and then put everything back together. I may check it in a week or so just to make sure there's no leak. But as of now, I think that might have been it. I didn't have to replace that other piece inside. So hopefully this helps you all. All right, I put everything back together. It looks like the leak has stopped. Like I said, I'll be checking it probably in about a week to make sure that seal's good back there and that there's no water leaking. Also, when you're done, you might want to just clean off the old caulk that was around here, the old caulk that was around to seal from water getting back there, and put in some new caulk just to seal that up so that when you're showering, water doesn't drain back in there. Yeah, hopefully this video helped. And I'm not a plumber, but I'm not afraid to try stuff. So if you don't want to call a plumber and it's just a leaky faucet, don't replace that head. You got to figure out what's going on here. And if you have a Kohler and it's newer than, I forget what it said on the website, but if it was the early 2000s, they all pretty much use that same mixer plate and valve from behind. So hopefully this helped. Thanks.